Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Gift and you're welcome to Gift and Couture. So in today's tutorial I want to show you how I got this beautiful bodycon dress. So if this is your first time of coming across my channel, please do also subscribe so you can always get notification whenever I post a new video. And to my old subscribers, I say thank you. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was to mark 1 inch, okay, which is the top line. Alright, go ahead and mark 1 inch and connect the line just like you're seeing it on the screen. So after I finish doing that, go ahead and measure 1.5, which is going to serve as the shoulder line. Okay, alright, so after I finish doing that, go ahead. This 1.5 works for everybody size. Okay, so from there, go ahead and mark your bust point just like you're seeing it on the screen. Mark your bust point. Like the way you are seeing the paper is actually divided into two, both front and the back. So connect the lines on the bust point. Go ahead by 2 inches and measure. Okay, 2 inches of what, and connect the line. That line is actually for the across chest measurement. Go ahead and measure your full front length, which is also called the half length, and connect the lines just like you're seeing it on the screen. So if this is your first time of coming across my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Alright, so from what you are seeing, the paper, like I said earlier, the paper is divided into two, both front and the back. So it's actually the same measurement I'm using here for the front. That's what I'm using for the back. So in this bodycon dress, there's no need for side bust. Alright, so from the waistline, go down by 8 inches and measure. Connect your lines. So is what you are doing for the front here. The first one I'm doing right now is actually the front measurement. Alright, so go ahead, on your shoulder line, divide your shoulder into two. Okay, just like you're seeing it on the screen. On the across chest, divide it into two. So if you are yet to know how to measure your across chest measurement, check, you see one of my videos. Okay, so now on the across chest, measure your bust just like you're seeing it on the screen. Now the distance between that bust measurement and the across chest measurement is what you are going to use to contour your arm. Or go ahead and measure, draw the lines. Now the distance between there, whatever you have, divided by 4. So the distance between the shoulder and the across chest divided by 2, and the midpoint going by 0.3. So use 2.5. Actually use 2.5 for the neckline, just to get the neckline. So after I finished that, I went ahead to connect the armhole. Okay, so go ahead and connect your shoulder just like you're seeing it on the screen. Use your French curve to get the armhole contour. Okay, so after doing that, go ahead and measure your waist. Alright, place your tape roll on your half length or your full front length, whatever you might call it, and put your measurement, your waist measurement, just like you're seeing it on the screen. Please make sure you reduce it by 1 inch. Okay, for example, if your bust is 34, reduce it by 1 inch and use 33. If your waist is 28, reduce it by 1 inch. And if your hip is 40, alright, reduce it by 1 inch. Alright, so go ahead and connect the lines just like you're seeing it on the screen directly. So connect the bust to the waist just like you're seeing it on the screen, and the waist to the hip line. Alright, so after I finish doing that, extend it to meet the across chest measurement. Go ahead and do the same measurement on the back. The only difference is just the shoulder and back and the across back measurement. That's the reason I couldn't use the front paper for the back. So just like you're seeing it on the screen, after you've taken the measurement, go ahead and add 1/2 inch rather on the shoulder for joining. That 1/2 inch actually for the shoulder joining. So that's just it. After that, go ahead and take your bust measurement on the back, the waist. Make sure you reduce 1 inch from each, all right, just like you're seeing it on the screen. Okay, the reason I actually, it's a bodycon dress and the fabric is stretchy. The thing about this thing, even after I finished sewing that dress, okay, it was still stretchy. Okay, so go ahead and take your measurement just like the way we did your waist, your bust, and your hip measurement. So, and then connect your lines. Please, if this is your first time of coming across my channel, once again, don't forget to subscribe so I can always get recommended by YouTube, so that this video can get more viewers, all right, and more subscribers. Thank you. Just like you're seeing it, connect it to meet whatever measurement you have on the hip. Take it down to the length of your dress, whether you want it long or short. Just follow this process. Okay, go ahead and contour and may connect your bust to your waist, from your waist to your hips, just like you're seeing it on the screen. And after that, go ahead and add 1/2 inch, okay, for your measurement, all right, which is going to use as a seam allowance. So after I was done, I went ahead to cut out the paper. You can see there was no seam allowance, all right. So I went ahead to cut the neck. The first thing I did was to measure 8 inches downward from the neckline, and on the um, shoulder I use 1.5 because the upper part is actually divided into two. The inner one is where I use 1.5 on, and that's what I'm doing. I use my French curve to connect the lines. So I went ahead from that 8 inches, I went up by 2.5 inches, and then to get the overlapping the overlapping on the upper part, just like you're seeing it on the screen. I went ahead to connect it to meet my armhole. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut the back of the paper. So the actual measurement we are using to get the front, like the upper part neck, is actually 3.5. So 3.5, just like you're seeing it on the screen, even though I've already cut it out. So I went ahead to place 3.5 just to know that this is what I'm using, all right, and then cut out the neck. Note the first line that I did is actually 4, so I went down by 3.5 as well, all right, because the neck is kind of high neck, all right. Okay, so now what I actually have in total of this is 3.3 inches rather. Okay, so the 3 inches is what I'm going to use for the back as well, because the first one I use is I'm going to cut it out, all right. So I went down by 1.5 for the back and connect the lines just like you're seeing it on the screen. After I finished doing that, I went ahead to cut out the neck, the paper, and everything. I went ahead to cut out the neck, the one that is going to show the hole on the center. So just like you're seeing it on the screen, I was just trying to picture how it's going to be. So I went ahead to fold it to see if it's going to give me that um the hole there, and it was perfect. So that's exactly what I got. Okay, and that's what you should get as well. So after I finished doing that, I went ahead to still picture how it's going to be. So I went ahead to place the paper on the fabric and cut. Note, there was no seam allowance. The fabric is stretched already, despite the fact that I removed the stuff. I removed 1 inch, actually so 2 inches, to see the the level of stretchiness this fabric came with. So I went ahead to cut the upper part, and on the side of the armhole I brought down by 1 inch and connect it to meet the center without adding any seam allowance to it, any joining allowance. So the reason for that extension is just for you to overlap, just like the way you're seeing it on the screen. So for the back, I went ahead to, after I finished joining it, I went ahead to cross check the armhole, and that was it. So after I finished doing that, I measured my armhole to check my, in order to cut the sleeves. So after that, I used the paper, front side of the paper, to cut the sleeve, just like you're seeing it on the screen. I went down by 4 inches to get the biceps, just like you're seeing it on the screen, and then connect it. Okay, you connect using, you can use your hand, you can use your French curve, anyhow you want it. All right, so from that midpoint, from the center, I went down to our elbow measurement, which is 12 inches. So around elbow is actually 11. Okay, so I reduced it by 1 inch. Okay, no, it's not 11 though, it's actually 10. So I reduced it by 1 inch, and on the wrist I reached the 7, I reduced it by 1 inch, leaving me with 6. So that 6 is actually what I divided by 2, and after I finished doing that, I went ahead to connect the lines. So on the bicep, in order to, because the paper, what I actually curved there is actually the back, I went ahead to divide my bicep into 2, and on the center I went in by half inch. So the new lines I just connected now is what I'm going to use for the front. Note, the first line is for the back, the new line I just did now is actually for the front sleeves. Okay, and after I finished doing that, it was actually the same measurement, so I went ahead to add half inch to it for the joining allowance. It's a stretchy fabric. If I put more than half inch, is going to be um is going to show. Okay, so I after I finished cutting the sleeves, I went ahead to trim one side, to trim it off, like the back off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick two side. Okay, just like you're seeing it on the screen, put two side of the sleeves and then connect it, and then cut it rather. So I'm going to pick one and face it the back to back. All right, as okay, the negative side to the negative side, just like you're seeing it on the screen. The wrong side to the wrong side. Note, not the, you can see the way I placed. Now this is the front, and if you flip it to the other side, it's still the front. So place it, let it meet the center of the sleeve, just like you're seeing it on the screen. Trim it off. If you don't want to go through the process just like this, you can join the sleeves. After joining the sleeves, and then you can trim it off. So after I finished doing that, I went ahead to join it and then fix the sleeves. So after I finished fixing the sleeve, cutting the sleeves, okay, I went ahead to measure 1.2 inches length and then fold it into two, just like you're seeing it on the screen. I went ahead to sew it, and after I noticed that it was too much, the sewing was too much, I had to trim it off in order for it to relax, just like you're seeing it on the screen. It was not easy since it is stretchy fabric. I had to use candle. At one point I changed it to paper. So this is the outcome after I finished using the bias, the cloth to pipe it. Okay, so after I finished doing that, I went ahead to sew the sleeves, and this is the outcome. I hope you like it. I hope this makes sense. I hope we're able to learn something. Thank you guys.